Black History Month with Rainier Avenue Radio World. You'll hear interviews, panel discussion, issues that impact your life on a daily basis. Celebrate Black History Month with Rainier Avenue Radio. And oh, did I mention? Every Wednesday night, live musical performances from the historic Columbia City Theater. Rainier Avenue Radio celebrates Black History Month all month long. Interviews, icons celebrating the history of Black Seattle, community leaders, community activists. In 1852, Seattle's first Black resident arrived. National viewpoints. In 1943, Harborview Hospital hired its first hosted by Rick Dupree, Tina Marie, and me, Tony B. In 1961, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. made his first and only Seattle appearance. Did I mention every Wednesday in February, every Wednesday night, in celebration of Black History, live musical performances from the historic Columbia City Theater. I'll say it again. Every Wednesday, live musical performances from the historic Columbia City Theater in celebration of Black History Month. People you know, and some you may not. It's a celebration of Black History Month on Rainier Avenue Radio World.
Women are not an homogenous group.
We face discrimination differently depending on factors such as ethnicity, age, socioeconomic status, and more.
Rainier Avenue Radio is proud to amplify women's voices.
They are the experts of their own lives, initiating conversations within their community about challenges they face, the solutions they're working on, and the opportunities they see.
Please join us this Sunday from 2 to 5 for Women's Voices on Air. We know our challenges. We are the experts of our lives.
We are master multitaskers, prioritizing our family, friends, and our faith above our own needs.
Our needs and voices are too often overlooked.
Please join us this Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. for Women's Voices on Air.
We tell our stories in our own way.
This is the news on Rainier Avenue Radio. Guinea is tracking down people who potentially came in contact with Ebola patients and will distribute vaccines as soon as it can get them, Health Minister Remy Lama said as the death toll from the new outbreak rose to 4. The West African country declared a new Ebola epidemic on Sunday after confirming 7 infections, Al Jazeera reports. Lama said unlike the deadliest known outbreak through West Africa during 2013 and 2016, Guinea now had the means to halt the resurgence of the disease. Neighboring Sierra Leone and Liberia have put their citizens on high alert, AP's Carly Patesh reports. The new outbreak occurred in Nzerekore in southern Guinea, where health officials detected suspicious cases of Ebola with patients presenting symptoms of diarrhea, vomiting, and bleeding. And that's your news on Rainier Avenue Radio.
You are listening to Rainier Avenue Radio .world. Don't forget to log on www.rainieravenue.world. Yes.
Hey, what's up? And welcome to Friday Family Film Night. I hope you enjoyed what you just saw with Anthony Tackett and the film crew and film folks discussing racial equity in the Seattle film industry. Good conversation, and that will be something that you can go back and look at as well. We've been celebrating Black History Month all month long here in February with a variety of different ways for you to experience the contributions that African Americans have made to this country, the experience of African Americans in a number of different aspects. So we decided we had a whole month, and rather than focus on one particular event, we just give you a swath of things to choose from. Yes, we can still talk about civil rights. Yes, we can still talk about slavery. But even talking about the digital divide, showing you the Hartsfield Black Slave Quilt Collection, panel discussions like the one we had earlier on reparations without gentrification, town hall meetings, discussing issues and topics important to the community. Blacks in football. We tried to get as many things in as we possibly could in this month. And that was to let you find something that interests you, that you could realize, we don't have to wait till Black History Month in order to find out what Carter G. Woodson had in mind when he said we need to record our contributions because they're not available anywhere. And it is part of American history. So, yeah, Hope you're having and have had a good Black History Month. Again, welcome to Friday Family Film Night. We're going to be showing the films Malik and Black June. Joining me from the panel discussion. What's up, Anthony Tackett?
Hello, everyone. It's good to see you again. It's been a while.
All right. Yeah, I think we and you had a bunch of Zoom listeners too, over 20 of them. But I think that we they left when we switched shows. They could have stayed, but so I don't know that we'll be able to do that Q&A. But you had a bunch of folks on that panel discussion. For anybody who just happens to have missed the panel discussion and just tuned in, can you kind of give a recap of what they may have missed or
yeah.
watched?
Yeah, we talked filmmaking, racial equity, inclusivity in filmmaking. We talked with Chris Swinson with the Seattle Office of Film and Music, Vivian Hua with Northwest Film Forum, Virginia Bogart with Women in Film and Laughing Dog Productions, and Winfield Ezel with Obsidian Media, and Cleveland Tyson with 182nd Films LLC. Did I forget anybody? I think that's everybody. Yeah. And it was a great conversation about what we have been working on with the Seattle Film Task Force, which has been charged with building or reforming the Seattle Film Commission. And so we've been instilling racial equity into the conversation as often as we can. And it's, coming together pretty well. I think there's some interesting ideas on the table. There's a lot of red tape we have to dance around, which is interesting. But the most important part is the connections we make with the people in the group, because they're all in positions where they can make a difference right away. Instead of waiting for the city, they can just put things into action just from their own organizations or 501c3s. So look out for what we are doing. Look out for there's a Facebook group, the Equity and Inclusivity page, something like that. I'll give you exact information next chance I get it. But yeah, that's what we've been up to. What you been up to, T?
Well, hey, this right here, again, welcome everyone to Rainier Avenue Radio. It's called The Conscience, Celebration and Education of Black History Month. Yeah, it's me, Tony, and it's like I mentioned, all month long we've been doing this dance exhibitions, performances, and every Friday, the films. We started this off with the film A Familiar Lie from Curtis Ellerson. Have you seen that, Ant? A Familiar Lie? Anthony?
Oh, sorry, I have not.
Okay, yeah,
I have not yet. I've been looking out. I need to spend time with movies, so I have to make sure I have the time, so I can sit and enjoy them. What do you think about it? Have you checked it out yet?
Oh yeah, I was funny, irreverent. Just another aspect of the Black filmmaker, and then we saw 1-5 Experience, Simon Kilo, and then we watched Aaron Dixon's "My People Are Rising," the documentary autobiography of Aaron. It was really amazing, especially in the time of the Fred Hampton movie coming out. The Judas movie, to get another perspective from a captain in the party that was less based off of the Judas, and more based off of the aspects of what the Black Panther Party represented. So My People Are Rising was really good. And then a Sam Hampton film, A Change in the Family, which took a look at the life, and it was a documentary as well, which took a look at the life of Zoe, and the family of Zoe, as Zoe realized and was coming out as transgender and gender nonconforming, and how the family is working through that. And then tonight we got Tack.
What up?
We're going to take a look at a couple of films. Black June, yes. We're going to take a look at Malik first. But we'll start with Malik. Why don't you give us a little background information, a little teaser about Malik, and before we take a look.
Sure. Malik is a film I did about 10 years ago. It was my first film that I wrote in college, and it was a really sensitive theme, especially to the white people at Bellevue College, because this film is about race and injustice and police harassment, and so they were really sensitive because I don't think they wanted to go there, and when they were okay with me going there because they probably at that point realized I'm black, they wanted to direct like the police officer, like he should be more mean, he should be more of this, and since I refused to change the script, they give me a D, and so I kept it how it was.
Mm-hmm.
I complained, they gave me a C minus. Just from the script alone. It was only from the script. I probably could get that grade now if because shooting it is different than writing it.
Mm-hmm.
But in the process of it, it was just interesting how they wanted to like guide the conversation when it was my own body of work. It was just for me really offensive. And so I stuck with it. It's in honor of Trayvon Martin because that was shortly after his execution, and it was to kind of be just an outlook of what we have to experience on a day to day. Their argument was, oh, he should have been more mean. And my argument was, when we're being violated of our rights, officers are pretty nice about it. We met Officer Friendly when we were in high school, and he'll be Officer Friendly before he beats your head over with a baton, with a smile and says, this is for your own good, or it's because you jaywalked, and so we, have to approach things differently as Black men in such a way where, it requires support. And you'll find in this film, the brother man finds some support in the right place at the right time. And I hope that we stick together in that fashion and look out for each other in that fashion. And so that's what the Malik is about.
All right. This is a short film, about 10 minutes.
Last I checked, it was. Yeah. It's about 10, maybe a little less than 10.
Okay, and we're gonna watch this, then we're gonna come back, talk a little bit more, and then we're gonna talk about Black June. So here we go. Everybody, welcome to Friday Family Film Night. Anthony Tackett, this short film 10 years ago, right? About 10 years ago?
About 10 years ago, yep.
It's called Malik.
Enjoy.
Now everybody get down, cause we ain't safe no more. It's worldwide homicide, they ain't playing no more. Get down, now people dying in the streets, bombs falling, bodies dropping, man, we dying from the heat, so get down. Cause we ain't safe no more. It's worldwide homicide, they ain't playing no more. Get down, now people dying in the streets, bombs falling, bodies dropping, man, we dying.
I'm thinking, this is a piece of candy, kid. What are you freaking out for? It's like he's
why don't you get that cup of coffee on me? Yeah, I'll catch up there, all right?
It's tough.
Hey. I can hear you. What can I do for you, officer? Well, do you have permission to paint here? This is private property. I'm going to have to ask you. I've been here all week and nobody's complaining. What about all of them? I noticed you first. And I'm complaining right now. So, pack it up and move. Look, officer, watch who you call him boy, and I definitely ain't your son.
We got a problem here, fellas?
Get this taken care of, lady. You go back inside.
My name is Anna, and this is my shop, so why are you bothering my painter?
I don't need your help.
You do. Officer Pibbs here doesn't play nice. And like I was saying, Malik has been painting for my customer for weeks now and has every right to be here, just as much as you have the right to harass anyone you please.
Hey, they didn't have whole milk, so I got you a loaf. Fat. Is everything okay here? So, let's just move on. Catch you later.
You lost your damn mind? You know that's the cop who beat down your little thuggalicious homie last week.
I was hoping he would try.
That's what he said too. And now he's in the hospital and he'll be doing time. Yeah, because the arresting cop sprained his ankle in the process. They're calling it assault.
See my point? No justice.
Not if you're being a hothead. Now you owe me.
Oh, really now?
Mm-hmm.
What you want?
Flower.
Flower.
You heard me. Don't act like you're unintelligent now. How do you think I knew your name? From every fine young woman walking in here. Happy because some fine brother outside painted them a beautiful flower. I want a red flower.
I don't do requests for free.
Oh, please. You want to call those cops back here? Have you taken away from mouthing off to your savior?
God's my only savior, lady. But you're a close second.
I know. Just the way God planned. So Malik, are you gonna paint me a beautiful red flower or what?
It'll be the best I've ever done.
Don't make a lady wait too long.
Genocide, murder, and rape. Liquor stores, church houses, blackouts, and red tape. Federal and state, the news is on at 8. So listen closely for the mass mind rape.
All right, that was Malik. Tack.
Yo. I forgot to warn you. It's a love story.
So let's that's what we would call a short film, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And in doing that, just talk about the type of work that goes into that, into bringing that to fruition.
Whew. It took a commitment. It was a personal commitment after my teachers kind of aggravated me and kind of told me that this would never get done, as they say. I wanted to do that right after school. That was the first project I did after finishing the class, after finishing the degree. And I stuck to it. I wanted to shoot it in 2 months, wrap it on the third month completely, like editing, and then screen it in September. And I did that. I had a nice screening for it at a festival. It was a small event that was happening. And I just wanted to do the steps of creating the film because at that point I haven't from beginning to end. So, writing it was the most important part of it, of course, because it was the process that I was learning in class. And I just wanted to continue all the way through and not stop the lesson at the end of the quarter and just say, I'm done with this. I wanted to just follow it through just so I can prove to myself that I can get that done. And it happened. And so, yeah.
Okay. And we're gonna give the people what they want and let them see the next film. But Black June, again, this is a preview. Tell us about Black June. I've been talking about it all week as I've been telling people about Friday Family Film Night. But let's hear from you, Black June.
Well, it was a traumatic experience to document what was going on during those during the uprising after the George Floyd's lynching, and it was just kind of an impulse thing to get out there with everybody else to march and to express voice. But I wanted to do it differently. I wanted to just document. I told my team we're going to stay as unbiased as possible, which I realized like maybe a few hours in, it was not going to be possible to be unbiased because I'm a Black man, and these conversations pertain to me, my family, my kinfolk, and the next generation and our ancestors. So I had to be very careful who I interacted with and who I even broke bread with, because it was kind of a crazy experience, and it was just all over the place. So getting this to the point where it is took a lot of serious brainstorming and prayer, a little bit of therapy, a lot of therapy, and it's become my passion piece. I was editing up until this point. I didn't want to stop editing. There's just so much we still have to put into it, and I just am thrilled that people can see it, because I know a lot of people have been asking about it and wanting to know what's come of it. And here's the opportunity to do it. I hope you guys can support it. If you don't like it, tell me. There's like a whole chat thing, and there's going to be some time for Q&A also. But I want to make this for the people. It's not for me. It is my passion project because I do documentary work for a lot of other people. Nothing that pertains to me and my people. So this is something that I'm really sensitive about. I'm an artist, but I want you to tell it like it is, as I do in this film.
Okay, and this has never been seen before publicly at all.
Not in this form.
Not in this form. First time ever. Ever.
Everyone's seen the trailer. They've been watching the trailer for a year now, a few months. So yeah, this is the world debut, my man.
All right, here we go. First time ever, right here on Rainier Avenue Radio, Friday Family Film Night. This took place in Seattle. It captured the attention of the whole world, and now through the eyes of Anthony Tackett.
Can I give a quick disclaimer?
Yes.
This film has a lot of police brutality and swearing. So we call it Family Fun Night. So just keep that in mind. There's going to be some emotions at play, and there's some really hard moments. So just protect yourself while watching this.
Well, thank you for that. And at the same time, what better situation than to be around family when you need to have these discussions about things that are taking place in our society. And so once again, here we go for the world premiere. This is just a preview cut, and Black June.
It's why I, as a nursing student and an EMT, have decided to fill a role as a medic. But restaurant owners can bring hot meals, which is huge for keeping morale up. And white people putting their bodies between cops and people of color, as well as anything else you can do to fill a support role, like passing out water and snacks. There's been huge fatigue, as well as people with other professional services like counseling to help people deal with the trauma of what they're experiencing. It's creating these support organizations is the most effective thing we can do to make sure that these protests are effective.
Wait, is that the flashbang? That's the flashbang. Oh, that's the flashbang, you guys.
I've seen officers nationwide enforcing tyrannical orders against the people, and I'm hoping it's a minority of officers, but I'm not sure anymore, because every time I turn on the television, every time I look to the internet, I'm seeing people arrested or cited. We need to start looking at ourselves as officers and thinking, is what I'm doing right?
I had my eyes open to the corruption as they use brutal tactics and chemical agents against protesters who are just using their rights as American citizens to have their voice heard, and outrage against Black lives being horribly snuffed out in this country by corrupt police departments and people who don't really care about minorities or even people of the lower class who are minorities, it seems, especially, are the ones who get harassed the most.
This moment of the decay and decline of the American empire, so that the impact of America around the world is lessening, not just its reputation, but its inability to present itself as something that it is not, which is this beacon of liberty. I mean, here's, July 4th, right?
Right.
Frederick Douglass, celebrations of shame, national greatness, swelling vanity, boast of liberty, unholy license. America reigns without rival when it comes to revolting barbarity and shameless hypocrisy. That's Brother Frederick Douglass, July 5th, 1852. Well, now the chickens have come home to roost, though, brother. America has been revealed to be a place that cannot deliver basic goods and services to its own people. 40% of Americans living near or in poverty. It cannot protect rights and liberties when it comes to those dissenting voices that are being pushed to the side too often, and it cannot deliver purpose and meaning because its commodified culture is so spiritually empty and vacuous, and it's all about getting over and manipulation and domination rather than learning how to care and nurture for others and cultivate intimacy and love, which is what makes life worth living. That's why you got the drug overdoses taking place. That's what you got, the unbelievable sense of meaninglessness, what I call nihilism taking place. So that the culture of an empire, as well as its nation state, with all of its militarism around the world, in Africa expanding and so forth, dropping drones on innocent people, and then the greed, my brother, the greed beginning on Wall Street and spilling over, which is out of control.
Brutality breeds brutality, and people are sick of it. A lot of times protesters are coming out here, kids are getting maced, there's been tear gas, there's been flashbangs for no reason to justify such force. And this is a common trait in America's police force, and they need to be held accountable. And the people that put them in that position and say that training is okay to utilize, need to be brought to accountability. And we need to change that now. Otherwise, it's going to get progressively worse, as it has done for the past, I'd say, 3-4 decades. And this is just not a country I want to live in if it's going to be divided and if any group of people are going to be oppressed. So it's up to each of us to do something about that, whether you come down here protesting, whether you contribute funds, whether you volunteer your time to one of these programs, whether you volunteer your skill sets. Everyone has a place in this fight, and everyone should care about their fellow human being, regardless of what color, what gender, what sex. I don't care. We all need to take time to care about one another.
If he were made to realize how Black people really feel and how fed up we are without that old compromise and sweet talk. Stop sweet talking him. Tell him how you feel. Tell him what kind of hell you've been catching, and let him know that if he's not ready to clean his house up, if he's not ready to clean his house up, he shouldn't have a house. It should catch on fire and burn down.
blood. Did nobody seem to know me, baby. Everybody passed me by. Riding the phone, baby. Riding the phone. Hi, man. How you doing?
Good. I mean, as good as anybody who's been protesting for, 14 days at this point. We've been out on the streets since like last Friday. So this seems to be the culmination of all of our efforts, and I don't know what's going to become of this. This is still kind of in its infancy, and it looks to be positive, you know? A lot of free stuff, a lot of free help, free medical attention.
We're on day 14. We're on day 9 camping out. All the speakers are this guy who's kind enough to allow the community and the people of color to be heard a little bit better. We're just trying to create sustainability amongst here. And we were up the block a little bit, and when there was a lot of protesters and a lot of anger, you can't like feel any emotion 24 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not healthy. You can't be just sitting here fucking raging. So it's like absolutely in a good spot. We have a way to weed out that someone donated for people to smoke. And we just try to fuel you guys up for the rejuvenation station so you can get back out there and fight the fight.
We started because of the Black Lives Matter. We started because people are dying in the streets. You know, and the cops all over the country have been refusing to take accountability for what they're doing. So obviously that's why we sparked it. The police are gone. They walked away. They decided that they wanted to see. I don't know if they thought that we were going to break into their building and be a bunch of terrorists, as Trump calls us. But I mean, look what it sparked. We have artists coming in, painting. We have, people from different areas of the community. If for any other purpose, we would never probably interact. But here we are, because the cause is bigger than each and every one of us. Parks and Rec, they're not happy that we're turning this into a community garden. And I'm sorry. We're tired of being overcharged for food that we can grow. Why? Why are we overcharged for the things that grow out of the ground?
This is Black Star Farms Garden. Started it, I think it was May 31st, or actually might have been June 1st. Right after we took over, right after the police left the East Precinct. The next day I came in with a shovel, looking to do some guerrilla gardening, kind of bring some plants to the space, start thinking about ways which we can use this space differently now that it kind of ended up in our hands. Basically, a bunch of people from the community came and gave their support, their donations, their plants, their love and their time to kind of jump in and support my efforts to build a garden here. This garden is not purely a means of supporting ourselves, it's also a demonstration into how we can use space, also a place where we can discuss racism and land inequality and gentrification, all these issues that surround the Black Lives Matter movement that all stem from the roots of the ground, and how Black people, Indigenous people have been removed from the land, which is their intergenerational wealth. And it's important that we remind people that if we want to recover from this, if we want to reverse gentrification, reverse racism, we got to give people back the land and educate them on how to caretake the land. We got tomatoes, we got peppers, eggplants, lettuce, we got kale, we got Three Sisters planting, which is corn, squash, beans, we got strawberries. People have brought trees. We had chestnuts, hazelnuts. People have brought grapes. People have brought blackberries. We got a bunch of native plants that can be used as perennials in this space. Actually, Jenny Durkin has issued another curfew order. So basically from 8 p.m. to 8 p.m. we are not allowed to be outside or in this park. So essentially what's going on is people are preparing themselves for whatever might come. We have heard that what's going to happen is community leaders, particularly Black community leaders who have been in communications with Durkin, are going to come out here and try and convince us that we need to leave this space peacefully. And the community here has decided to stay, so we're preparing for that.
Right, we are providing free hot meals for protesters. This is our 4th day being out here. We were both protesting
friends. This is Zach. We're working together. We were out there on the front lines the first couple of days and kind of saw the injustices and saw the police brutality firsthand. And at a certain point, going there day after day and getting tear gas and getting maced and getting pepper sprayed, it's like, what else can we do to help?
I immediately called him and I was like, it's time. It's time for us as chefs to get out there. Things are peaceful enough to where we can personally do our best and present our craft. Because at the end of the day, our craft is literally just making sure that everybody is fed, fueled, and ready to go.
The SPD has left the East Precinct. Not sure on what terms, why they left and moved everything out. Today, I know one of the speakers had a meeting with the mayor and with the chief to talk about what are next steps, what does that look like, trying to get these issues moved forward. It's going to be a long process. Right now, we're all out here together to basically celebrate, keep this movement pushing, get the momentum going, and we're all here for the greater Black Lives Movement cause.
There was police brutality here. All last week. So we actually have been too dependent on this system of incarceration because you don't even know what to do other than punish somebody after something happens. And so there are people in our community that practice restorative justice, transformative justice, and are influenced not just by indigenous people of this land on Turtle Island, but also our indigenous African practices. And I want to actually just uplift all our continental immigrant Africans that are in the crowd right now and make that connection between United States American Africans and our folks that are motherland.
Recently, when we came out here, I said, if we come out here, then we actually are taking a different kind of risk. Like, are you ready to die? Like, we are all taking that risk right now, this very moment, but it's something that I felt really shitty about saying to my daughter, like, are you ready? So I just want to point that out. Like, a lot of people before us obviously put their lives on the line for us, and we're still doing it, right?
And I just want to call out Ike's with that Black Lives Matter out there, like that make the marijuana industry, the cannabis industry, any less racist in this state.
Come on.
There are hella people who taking charges, suffer collateral consequences, some still in jail as it relates to drug charges. But let's be real, when cannabis was allowed to become an industry in this state, who got access to it? Wealthy white men.
I'm fighting for my trans rights, my GPL rights. I'm trying to fight for my community. Do you want to know how I got down here? How I really, I just watched how I really got here, y'all. I was sitting in. Remember seeing your name was here? It was bullshit. So I came down here for my damn self.
What'd you
experience? My damn self.
What'd you observe?
Good people. You got a good heart. They really want to fight for the real cause of Black Lives Matter. Feel me? God bless these little people, young heart souls. You know what I'm saying? God bless them. I just don't like how people. Sorry, I'm hurting. I don't like when people. They fight at the people with mental illness. They don't know what they're going through. Just don't know. Stop making fun of people who don't know what the fuck they're going through. That's not cool. I'm so sick of it. We say we're gonna be together. Some of the fucking division. Some of the fucking division. I'm tired of people trying to want to be gangster, put the gangster shit up in here. We don't need that. I really hate Donald Trump very well. I'm glad I'm here for the fight. Before I left, I'm going for some chemo. I'm going to chemo in Vegas. I have breast cancer. So I'm trying to make history before I leave. So what is your point of view on this, too?
I saw what was happening on the news a couple weeks ago. There are a bunch of articles that friends were posting, and I just always kind of think like there's always another side to it. There's always like what the media is reporting on it isn't always the truth. And so I wanted to kind of see for myself. And last 2 weeks ago, a buddy of mine came here from Boise and visited, and he posted pictures and he posted videos, and so I got that was my first not my personal, but I trust what he's posting, right? So above anything else, I trust what's coming off of his phone, and what he's seeing for himself, and I just really liked what I was seeing, and so last Monday I flew out here and stayed for a couple of days to check it out for myself and get my own perspective on it, and essentially so I could just tell people once and for all that have no intention of coming down here, that have no intention of seeing the truth, to shut up about it, and this is what's really going on. This is what they're fighting for, and that's what I've seen here. I see, I see, we talked about it a little bit here, like I've seen some of the disunity, but at the same time, I see people speaking, right? And eventually that's going to lead to something better, right? Because people are going to have differences of opinion. People are going to have we want to do this, and other people are going to be like, well, no, we should be doing this. And but eventually, if they start working together and be like, okay, yeah, let's have these talks every day, and then afterwards we'll all march. Do it together, right? The people that want to march can also speak. And eventually you're gonna get from that. You're gonna get a sense of what people, what they need and what they want, and the difference between the two. I love the fact that it's the people here, the people of Seattle, that are actually speaking up. The people that do have mental illnesses, the people that do have issues, people that have been arrested by the police. The people that have been here when that got tear gassed and that had rubber bullets shot at them. Those are the people that are actually speaking up, and they stood their ground. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And here we are, a few weeks later, and they're still here. And I think it's a pretty awesome thing.
All right. So what's the situation?
Well, there was a meeting that happened with the mayor earlier in the day, based off what's been going on over the weekend with the shootings. They want to shut us down, more or less, by giving us certain operational hours from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., which in turn the city would actually take these 6 blocks back because nobody would be here, and that would be a chance for police and whatever city workers to come in and pull down tents and other supplies that has been set up here. So for us to leave this area, it will mean we abandon this area, just like how the police abandoned their precinct as well. So it's almost like a tit-for-tat situation we're in. As far as the people being here, a lot of people do not want to leave. They want to stay and fight. I am one of them. I don't mind as well. However, we do have men, women, and children here as well that set up camps, and they live here as well. And we just want to make sure everybody is safe through this transition. And as far as right now, we're just on standby to see what happens next.
The real work happens after
the dramatic demonstrations, the protests. And I don't want to minimize the impact of these amazing gatherings that have happened everywhere in the world in response to the murders of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery and Tony McDade and Rayshard Brooks and others. What we're going to have to do is to take each institution, schools, for example. The demand to get cops out of schools is so important because schools are, especially schools in Black neighborhoods and neighborhoods of other communities of color, have begun to replicate the environment of police stations and prisons.
We're in a moment right now. My daughters, your granddaughters, have been involved in this moment.
Best friends.
in which this next generation is saying, we have beliefs in all people being equal, and we don't see that operating out there. We're going to do something about it.
Yep.
And I think the key right now, and this is why I have so much confidence in your administration, wanting to be a partner in harnessing that energy and bringing about concrete reforms, concrete steps, not just in the criminal justice system, not just with respect to policing, but also with respect to investment, jobs, business development, is going to send a signal of decency and regard and concern and community around the country.
This is Paul Pearson, host of Star Time. And when I'm not trying out new wigs and cocktail dresses, I'm listening to Rainier Avenue Radio .world.
This is the news on Rainier Avenue Radio.
The Farmers Co-op Antiques Mall in Central Oregon sells decoy ducks, rusty typewriters, and pins with swastikas. Per NPR, one shopper was looking for toys and instead found a case of swastikas. The price tag said $36 each. The pins were neatly lined up next to an ashtray with a blackface caricature from the now defunct Coon Chicken Inn, a restaurant chain until 1957. More of the chain's racist merchandise was on sale, like a poster marked down to $18. When pressed about the juxtaposition of swastikas with Black Americana and racist caricatures, store owner Ike Abbas defended the vendor's option to sell whatever they want in a space rented from Abbas for $55 per month. The population of Redmond is 90% white, a demographic rooted in Oregon's legacy of systemic racism.
And that's your news on Rainier Avenue Radio.
On Saturday, February 27th, Seattle Local Learning Center, a nonprofit, A for Apple Learning Center, will spread the warmth by giving away new winter coats and books to children. We know that warmth is created in more than one way. A warm coat brings physical warmth, the gift of community brings warmth to our spirit, and the knowledge that someone cares brings warmth to the heart. A for Apple Learning Center has served the community for over 25 years and is dedicated to supporting and connecting families to essential resources in our community.
Lock in fresh juice with the newest hip-hop and R&B.
Every Wednesday night from 9 to 11 p.m.
on Rainier Avenue Radio. You know we got the dopest artists rocking with us every single week. It's myself, D-Money.
Taylor Hart.
And Pint-Sized Patron. This is Fresh Juice every Wednesday. It's Trilltopia.
Dealing with COVID-19 is uncharted territory, and everyone has different challenges. People may feel anxious, down, or overwhelmed. For some, these feelings can lead to changes in sleep patterns, an increased use of alcohol or drugs, or withdrawing from the people around them. If you know someone who's having a hard time coping, you can help by reaching out to talk and listen. To learn more about how you can help someone in need, call the Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 800-273-TALK. Brought to you by the state of Washington.
Rainier Avenue Radio, your community radio station will provide you with more information. Rainier Avenue Radio.
Welcome back. Rainier Avenue Radio .world. Friday Family Film Night.
that was it. That was our last film of the night, the last film of the series. I hope you've enjoyed the series and the opportunity to see a variety of different films, documentaries. Yeah, this has been great. This has been fantastic. And you just watched Black June, and as a matter of fact, Anthony Tackett is still with us. What's up, Tack?
What's up? What's up?
So let's start with this. Awesome inside peek, at some of the goings on in there, and the visuals of things that were taking place, and then you obviously had to be there in order to film it. But for you, looking back at it now and knowing where we're at, right here at the end of February, when you were filming it, what were your thoughts about moving forward? What would it be? What were you imagining it would be? What was the general attitude? Have things turned out the way you thought that they would? Or was it just a moment?
Well, it's hard to say because things are still ongoing. There's still marches that are happening. There's still there are bills on the legislative table that directly reflect that, and I hope people are paying attention to that, especially House Bill 1054, which is police officer tactics. Please look into that. There are a few other ones out there that will make the difference if people showed up to vote. To lobby, because it's on the legislative floor. So you have to find your politician. This guy's name is Jesse Johnson, with the Federal Way Democrat, who's put this on the floor, and it's something to really look into because it directly addresses neck restraints and chokeholds, unrestrained dogs, tear gas, military equipment, no knock warrants, even shooting, during vehicle pursuits. There's just a lot that we need to do to continue these conversations. It doesn't just end after everyone goes home. You go home and you take action in legislation and in politics and in community also.
Did you feel like you were in the middle of something big that was going on? Did you have the feeling that you were in the right place at the right time, as a person who documents things, who sees things, or you saying, I'm not sure what's going on here, but I'm gonna film it? Did you sense that, okay, I really need to be documenting this could be changing?
Well, I was talked into it by the co-director of the film, Maria Marin, aka LA China. She called me and told me to watch the news and told me what was going on. And I was like, oh, it's just another uprising. White people are going to get upset and then they're going to go home and go back to their daily thing. And she talked me into going. I went out, just like you said, with camera just to kind of see what's going on. And the moment my boots hit the ground, I realized I was in the middle of history. It was huge, historic change happening right there in the moment and in real time. It was happening all over the world, globally. Like there were uprisings all over the place. When I expand on this film, we're going to see a lot more of that stuff. But yeah, it was a historic moment, and it was in our grasp. We could do what we needed to do to advance our cause for social justice and real police reform. And so, yeah, man, it was big, so big. I had to take a huge step back because I was so involved. Like I said, I crossed the line from being, unbiased to straight up biased. And I was making sure that people were I was policing. I hate to say that, but it was about Black Lives Matter. And there are some folks who weren't there for Black Lives That Matter. They were there for some other things and other agendas. So that's when I had to take a step back and just let the story unfold, right, as it was.
So are you raising money right now?
We are. We have a fundraising campaign. I hope the technician put that over there in the chat. We hit a brick wall. At a certain point, people just stopped donating, which meant that we had to stop shooting. I couldn't pay people to go out. I couldn't pay for security. I couldn't even afford food for the crew or myself, gas. My car died a couple of times. And so we ran into a number of challenges that is financial based, So if y'all want to see this film happen, if you want to see this film actually get finished and complete, please donate and support this cause. We're not just out there to get famous or I don't, Tony knows me. I'm not about that. He had to twist my arm to get me on this show. Not really. It was kind of fun. I enjoyed it. Yeah, I really want to see this film get complete. And there's so much more that we have that we want to show. We want to continue shooting. You met Winfield Ezel on the last program. He's partnering with me to go around the South and talk to the freedom fighters and get their perspective of what's happening. I want to actually go and speak to Angela Davis and get more insight from her. I want to find Cornel West and go talk to him. But it takes money. I got to send a crew over there with cameras and lights, get the right audio. I need to be able to do an audio mix and get some more local artists on there. So there's a lot more to be done with this story. There's a lot more to tell. And like I said, it's still ongoing. We could be out there shooting now. Some of the marches that are happening, we're coming up on, 1 year anniversaries of a lot of the people who passed away last year. And so it would be good to just follow that up, So with your support, it will happen. If not, it would just be this 20-minute thing, which, this is only, really, this is kind of a second segment of what we're doing. You can call it volume 2 or chapter 2, because chapter 1, it didn't get exported. I only was able to show you the second one. So the first one is the opening, like how everything became to what it was. The second one was about CHOP. And then we have the third one with everyday marches that happen. We call it Black June, but we shot through August. And that was only because I had to stop for personal reasons.
So there was what, about, would you say about 20 minutes that we were supposed to see, but we didn't see because it didn't export?
There was 46 minutes I had to show. 46. So you only saw 23 of those minutes.
Well, about 20 minutes, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That we did not see, that we thought we were going to see. And so, but I didn't explain that to the people because you just said let it roll. At that point. Yeah. So there was an additional 20 minutes that we did not see. So maybe Ant will figure out how to come back and we get to see that other 20 minutes. Is that cool?
I'm very, very cool with that. Yeah.
Okay.
That'll be great.
Let's make that happen too. So I just wanted to get that in because we know what was going on behind the scenes, and and so we saw about 23 minutes, about 20 minutes we didn't. We see that you've done, and you've been working on this. And as you said before, it continues to unfold. And again, and we were talking about the dilemmas of the panel discussion before, this process of, the Seattle film industry and connecting producers and connecting funding. And that happened before as well. So yeah, man, let's Black June again. And how can people support? What do you need? Where can they go? For people who want to see you finish making this film and, as a product who was there on site, on hand, you tell the story. Why wait and have somebody else have to interview you and use your footage?
Right. Well, yeah, I want to get this thing in the can, as we say, so we can hit film festivals. I'd love to see this on a streaming site somewhere for the folks to engage with. If you look there on the screen share, looks like we have our fundraising page, and that number there hasn't changed since September. And so that's when we stopped shooting. Like, I can't afford it, right? And we, would like to keep going. I would love to send out crew. We had a lot of camera operators. If I had time, I shot them all out because I didn't roll credits in that film. Do I got a second? How long do I got?
Go ahead. Yeah. do you think?
Yeah, there's some folks I need to definitely shout out because this film would not be made without them. Maria Marin, aka LA China, Ryan Jorgensen, Noah Lupin, who did all of our aerials, Kaylee Kinos, who helped. She produced the show for us, the documentary for us. Sarah Crow came in, camera operator as well as producer. Brad Fox, camera operator. Jarrell Tackett, Mel Content News. Abby, AK, Corvus Blackburn, Douglas Brown, all camera operators. Daryl Wells was my archivist, held it down. Vivian Hua, Northwest Film Forum, who's our fiscal sponsor. So if you donate, it's a 501c3 charitable donation, so it's a tax write-off, right? Lindsay Martin is also our key producer. She came in and brought crew, brought snacks, just kept us going, which is awesome. Tess Stewart was our main editor. I just came in and cleaned up things, but she really held it down with the cutting. Michael Gould also came through as camera operator, and that's just a few of our crew. But I just wanted to make sure they got their shout outs so they wouldn't be like, "Oh my God, I only did this for peanuts, and that's all you gave me was a shout out. You got a shout out. That's right, and some screen time." So yeah, I just thank you for letting me do that. It's going to be an important piece, and I want to follow it up like. If segment 3 is going to be about the everyday marches, segment 4 is going to be about the legislative process because that's a big important part of it. That's the follow up, and then episode 5 will be the outcomes of the legislation, what passed and how has it changed the situation for brown bodies, for Black and brown bodies.
Man, do it big. You dig? I like the concept, Tack.
I appreciate that.
And having all of the pieces, it would be great to be able to see you bring your vision to fruition with this. And once that happens, I don't know if we'll be big enough to do the premiere on Rainier Avenue Radio, but we'll have to get you back, and because it sounds like a great thing and good. It could be required learning in schools. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So yeah, much success to you, Tack, on that level. I'm glad. Thanks for letting us see. And there was another 20 minutes that we were supposed to see, and that's how down to the wire this came. On OK's Tack. First, it's like anyway, 20 minutes of it didn't export, but we'll do that again real soon. All right.
Yes, sir. I mean, I wasn't going to tell anybody about the extra 23 minutes. I let you know that, and I just spilled the beans like, oh, yeah, there was more because it was supposed to be a preview. I told you earlier, it's like I'll probably have something like 10 minutes long for you.
Know.
And then I hit the cutting floor, and I ended up with like 40 minutes, and I was like, I'm just going to see if he's cool with that. And, maybe it was the divine intervention that said, don't show everything because, people have to contribute and help us, build this thing up so we can get it done right and complete. Right. Yeah. So I'm just blessed to have this opportunity. Thank you, Tony. Thank you very much, man.
Awesome. And thank you for being part of our Friday Family Film Night, and having this opportunity to celebrate and by Benjamin Hunter on Wednesday night.
That was a fun night.
Yeah, kind of a one-man show performance with Benjamin Hunter playing several different forms of variations of string instruments. So you can go back on the archive and check that out. Saturday from noon to 1, live from the historic Columbia City Theater. Experience XP and OG Squeak Nutty Bug live from the historic Columbia City Theater. Rap hip hop. The legendary OG Squeak Nutty Bug. If you don't know, you'll need to know. That's all I can say. And Experience XP. So make sure and tune in at noon. It's also part of our Black History Month events and celebrations with music and dance and civil rights issues and critical conversations. a number of different things. Go to our website at Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Quilt exhibit, interviews with Northwest legacy makers and history builders. See, there's just so much. I would keep going on and on and on. We just had an amazing conversation on Thursday morning, reparations without gentrification, 10 ways to build Black community. We're still going to get the one in on Tulsa and the 100 years remembrance of the devastation and murders of Tulsa, Black Wall Street. So there's still a lot that we did. There's more coming, and we're going to we'll see what we're going to do. But definitely on Saturday, OG Squeak Nutty Bug and Experience XP. Okay, Tack, you still there?
I'm still here. I ain't going nowhere.
All right. Well, thanks again, bro, and I'll give you a chance here for final words if there's something you'd like to say.
I think you nailed it. No, I just want to thank you again for the opportunity, and thank you for the supporters. I see a few familiar faces. I want to point out specifically Dora Vega. She's been watching everything we do since day one. I'm honored to have you on our team. You've been sending us good, positive vibes from literally day one. And my guy there, Shimon Andrews, thank you for your support, man. And everyone else who's keyed in. I love to hear your comments. You can find me on social media under Anthony Tackett. I'm a pretty open guy. I'm on Instagram under Tackett Films. I don't check it too much. I don't post too much. Last I posted, I was in Africa like 5 years ago. So some people still think I'm in Africa. I like that. That's cool. So you can find me in real time on FaceTime or Facebook anyhow, or if you can FaceTime me, if you can find me, I'm all for it. So yeah, just keep on supporting the film. We will keep tabs on our social media where what's going to be the next steps for that. We will go live next time we record, so we can all be a part of the production in a way. And yeah, keep on fighting the good fight. Look out for those House Bill 1054, and more. There's a lot more on the table. There's even a bill for Juneteenth. Did you know that, Tony B? There's a bill on the table for Juneteenth. Wow, it's a lot of action going on. So don't sleep on it.
A lot going on.
Don't sleep on it, y'all. Get out there and check your legislative information. You can check it out on the legislative side in Washington State. It's all there. Part of what I've done, Tony, is I went to school. I went to Evergreen State College, and one of the classes I'm taking is legislative process and statistics, because it's all divine intervention. I had to take it because I'm taking business, but statistics is going to help the documentary because we're going to bring out some facts. Some statistical data for the film, for the audience, so they have more accurate information, and it's just not a bunch of hearsay or a bunch of clips from YouTube. And so that's what this continuing process is about, to make this more legit, to make this more of a sound and valid argument. Yeah. So thank you for your support, Tony. Thank you for your support.
Yeah,
I appreciate you.
I certainly won't, because a bigger discussion, but at the end of the day, it comes back to reinforcing, people, the importance of the vote, because your elected officials pull triggers or don't pull triggers. And if you're thinking about running for office, because you're not happy with what's going on, these are times that you need to be critically aware of that if you're unhappy about things. And so, we have elections coming up. We have things going on, and things don't happen magically. And so it's good to have something like this document the time, so as people go back to take a look, because sometimes they don't know what to think. And then things, the person that writes the story tells the story. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to have things like this, because eventually people are going to have to make decisions about voting, and they'll determine where that money goes and what communities look like and whether they should change or be changed. And maybe this was another one of those seminal moments in time, but it certainly seems as though in a lot of other areas it is. So anyway, And that's why we've had an expanded Black History Month to provide people of a look at what the Black experience is, and not just focusing on one thing. And so, again, hopefully you've heard something, listened to something that's going to encourage you to want to know more about the Black experience and how it relates to American history, because it is American history. All right, that's it. That's all the time that I have. That's going to do it for the kid. It's me, Tony B. We'll see you 12 o'clock tomorrow. And Emerald Street Boys, R. Curtis is going to be hosting that show with Experience XP and OG Squeak Nutty Bug. We'll see you there at noon. Anyway, whether you believe you can or whether you believe you can't, you are probably right. I'm out. Peace.